it's almost a flip coin, like the flip side of the same coin, that God doesn't cause pain because you were unfaithful. I also don't think it's true that God didn't heal someone because you don't have enough faith. And I think that's an important thing to say as well. That if you just believed harder, believed more. I remember at the same charismatic church in Colorado, I hurt my ankle, and this gentleman came up to me and he said, Garrett, do you believe that God can heal your ankle? And I'm like, yeah, I do. He goes, are you ready to be healed? And I'm like, oh my.
And there's like this music that comes on.
He's like, well, guess what? God's right here.
Like, oh, geez. And so he's like, take off your boot. And I'm like, oh. And he goes, let's pray for you. So I take it off, and I just started like interning / working part-time at this church. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I take off my boot, and he's like, starts praying for it. He's like, now walk on it. And I'm like, okay. And so I start walking on it, and he goes, is it healed? I'm like, no, but it feels better. And he comes back, he's like, you do you have enough faith? I'm like, yeah, I believe he can do this. He's like, we're praying again. And then luckily one of the elders in the church like saw what was happening, and he like helped kindly correct and move this gentleman into another direction. But all that to say is that two things happen, and I think this is true, that simultaneously God does give us authority. God gives us his authority. He says that Jesus says, you will do greater things than I have done, which is wild to think about.
Yeah.
Like, and Jesus rose people from the dead. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, we're not making fun of people praying
No,
for
not at
people
all.
to be healed.
Dude,
for the
Garrett prayed
record.
for my feet, and they have not hurt since he prayed for
Yeah.
them.
So like,
Really?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So like I do really believe that God gives like authority to, like for people to heal. But I don't know why it doesn't happen at times. Like I just don't. But that doesn't mean that we still don't believe that God has the power to do that and then act in faith if we sense like if we sense God saying like, I need to heal that person. There's a lot of reasons God could be giving that to you. And so only part of it might be the efficacy of healing the person's ailment.
Right. Yes.
Because there is so much more holistically happening in the world than people's physical ailments. It could simply be that person, God wanted you to go to that person and pray for them just so they didn't feel alone.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
And that the reason that he didn't heal you, if that's the right phraseology, is that now you have a friendship with that person, and through the healing that God is going to bring, he's also going to bring relational and communal wholeness to this person, that there's more happening than we initially were privy to because we're not God. So I think that is part of the reason that the mystery thing that I was talking about earlier is so important, because we don't have all of the cards in front of us, all of the moving pieces of the like infinite like wills and natural events that are happening, and God is seeing all of it, and he's bending it towards the restoration of all things, because only God has that much power. So all we simply need to learn to become is faithful in our prayers, and to maintain the intimacy like you're talking about, Josh, of listening to God and responding and say, I think that this is what's supposed to happen, but also having enough humility to say, but I also don't think that means that God's necessarily going to do that, though I believe it.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, like it, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you can stay tuned for all of our content.